Having a disability can create huge impacts on people's ability to sustain their housing and to secure housing and sustain tenancies. So, I mean, largely what I've seen is, I suppose the main disabilities that people present with are psychosocial disability related to mental health issues and also brain injury. I know that these disabilities are overrepresented in the homelessness community.
Could be something as simple as like physical accessibility issues. So if there's no places that are being offered to this person and they clearly have a physical disability, but then it's the places that are being offered are not suitable for their needs, for their access needs, then that's a huge barrier, and that happens quite a bit actually, which I still can't believe, but that's the reality for a lot of people. Could be so simple again, like with forms to fill out. As you know, like Centrelink forms, housing forms, there's so much to fill out and there's so much jargon in it. And then like it's already hard enough for like you and I to fill them out. Like, can you imagine what it's like for someone with an intellectual disability and who doesn't have a support person necessarily to help them understand what's on those forms? A lot of people also experience anxiety from their previous experiences with housing departments. And because there's so much bureaucracy as well, it makes it more challenging and difficult for them to access basic needs and to achieve their goals, whether it's housing or employment or anything like that.
We also find that when people do actually get an offer of housing or find some housing, that the demands of sustaining a tenancy can be quite high. And so someone with a disability might find it really hard to organise themselves, to pay rent on time, to know how to pay their bills, to be able to cook and shop and clean their home. And often that means that they mightn't be successful in their tenancy.
I guess that it's those basic things where you're not just like over-promising or trying to do things that are outside of your scope, but you're just being very honest up front. And that it's pretty much about teamwork. Like, it's not about you saying, I'm going to do this for you. Like, you just sit and watch, or like you have to do everything yourself. It's like, we're a team, so we're going to work on that together. And that's something I've done ever since I started social work, and it's been really effective, because then people are more likely to open up and to actually tell you what they need and what their goals are, what's important for them.
It comes back to what the individual really needs. I can't speak for everyone, It's up to what the individual needs, because everyone's an individual. Everyone's different. The big thing is, if you've got a good rapport with someone, and you like a certain social worker, which I do, which I did with Karen and Lawrence, and it's just it makes a world of a difference.
I mean, I know it's hard because some people work with people really short term. Then I suppose there's different levels of what we can do. It's like just letting them know about the service and that they are potentially eligible for that and how it could benefit them, and maybe linking them to another service that might help them with the application. But if we're working more long term, then we might be that person that does that with them. So it's making sure that the person's aware of NDIS, how it can benefit them, and then getting the access request form sent off or completed by a GP, collecting evidence, and following the process through. Because I think, like, out of a lot of sectors, we're a sector that work really intimately with people, and we get to see them more closely, like in their own environment, and what things are difficult for them, what challenges they face. And often if they go and see a doctor, that person doesn't really understand them in the context of their life. So a person might present quite well, but You know, you have observed the struggles that they have and the challenges that they have. So often it is being there at appointments and helping medical specialists get a better picture of how that person's impacted by disability. You know, any supporting letters that you do put in, make sure that they're aware that this person is homeless or at risk of homelessness and requires that support to be able to sustain a tenancy. You know, that's something, sure, that's not, being homeless isn't a disability, but you know, to let them know that that's their experience at the moment, and that once they get housed without that kind of support, that they're going to continue to be at risk. Another thing that I found really helpful is being a nominee on their application. If people are transient and moving around, if you're the nominee and you hold a lot of information about that person, you can speak on their behalf, if that person agrees, of course. But yeah, so that's really helpful as well. Going on the NDIA website is a really good idea, and just familiarising yourself. They've got a bunch of fact sheets that tell you like what makes a person eligible and how to apply. So that's a really good starting place, is to just get knowledge about what the service is and how you apply and eligibility criteria. Getting to know your local area coordinator is a good idea. Letting them know who you are and what your service is. We've invited them to come and speak at our team meetings. That's a really good idea. If I write a report or someone else has written a report, because I like people to see what we're submitting, so letting them read the report, we'll give them the option to read the report if they want, but just to really sort of let them know beforehand that this isn't how we see you, that it is a model that we have to really show you on your worst day, but this isn't a reflection of how we see you at all and how you really are in the world. I just think when it all comes together, it works really well. It can be frustrating and it can be a long process, so don't give up. I mean, I think that's one thing about SHS workers, that we're incredible advocates. So just keep advocating for the person that you're working with, and really listen to them about what they want, because I suppose that was one of the things that NDIS tout, is its choice and control for the person. And you know, I suppose letting them know, like, the biggest thing I would say is get really informed about what NDIS is and what it's meant to do and what the eligibility criteria is, and then just if the person wants to go down that pathway, then support them as much as you can.